Hello everybody. In this video we'll try to understand Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra. This Nakshatra is the 12th Nakshatra in the 27 Nakshatra system, and it ranges from 26 degree 40 minutes of Leo to 10 degrees of Virgo. See, every Nakshatra consists of some group of stars. If you observe Ashwini Nakshatra, it has 2 stars. Kritika has 7. Arudra has 1. Rohini has 1. So, similar to that, if you observe, Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra consists of 2 stars, but the 2 stars are very contrasting to each other, because if you observe the visible magnitude of one star, it is 2.13, whereas the another star has a visual magnitude of 4.53. So visible magnitude is inversely proportional to the brightness. So if visual magnitude is lesser, the brightness is more. So one of the stars of Uttaraphalguni, 2 stars, has much brightness than the other, almost twice the brightness of the other. But see, those 2 stars actually impacting the human life on earth, that was discovered by our ancient rishis. And here Uttaraphalguni, what is the meaning of Uttaraphalguni? Uttaraphalguni is nothing but the latter reddish one, or you can say the latter fig tree. So when you talk about Puraphalguni or Uttaraphalguni, we talk about fig trees basically, right? And also you can understand the month of Phalguna relates to the spring season, right? So that's why we immediately associate Uttaraphalguni with all the feelings evoked by the spring season. Obviously, Uttaraphalguni will relate more or the latter half of spring instead of the beginning, right? So spring season, when you talk about Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra, we always talk about spring season. We talk about the fig trees, and Puraphalguni is the former reddish one, whereas Uttaraphalguni is the latter reddish one. And the main symbol of this nakshatra is the 2 back legs of a bed, right? And like Puraphalguni, the bed referred to here is not the bed we use for sleeping on during the night time, right? So, but a kind of temporary rest area. It's something like the temporary rest area. So we need some amusement, enjoyment after fulfilling the worldly duties, right? So that particular temporary rest is represented by Puraphalguni. And also here the bed, so the front legs or the back legs are represented by one nakshatra, then the other legs are represented by Uttaraphalguni nakshatra, I can say. So basically this nakshatra is very much similar to Puraphalguni in many ways, just as the symbolism suggests. That's what I want to tell basically. See, in fact, Puraphalguni and Uttaraphalguni form a pair, right? The first in the sequence of nakshatras. You can say how Mrigashira, Arudra form a pair. Similar to that, the Phalgunis, the Puraphalguni and Uttaraphalguni also, they form a pair. They share similar names, symbolisms, nature and quality, although there are some slight differences. And you can see my previous videos for Puraphalguni Nakshatra, right? So as we discussed in that video, the bed or the hammock represents a place for rest, comfort and relaxation. So the fact that Uttaraphalguni is related to the back legs and not the front legs of a bed relates it to the second half of this particular longing around, right? So usually this second half is much more active. The second half is much more active as one is mentally getting off the relaxation mode and preparing for work. It's more active because see, Puraphalguni is something like it is coming just after Magha. Magha is always about achievement, So it's kind of Magha people, they want to be number one. They want to achieve, achieve everything, something like that. You can say they always want to be in the top. For that they do lot of, right, hard work and all the stuff. But what is driving them? The driving force for Magha people is, being number one. So for that they do hard work, they achieve, they complete, they fulfill the worldly duties. So after, that's why Magha Nakshatra is represented by a throne, the king's throne, right? So once you are victorious, you feel like taking some rest, right? That's where the Purafalguni Nakshatra is the area where one only wants comfort, amusement, enjoyment, the temporary rest, right? And now after Purafalguni, we are coming to Uttaraphalguni. In Uttaraphalguni, so already the soul took rest in Purafalguni. Now, right, when you observe Uttaraphalguni, the rest is coming down. The rest, the wanting for rest is coming down. And again, the Uttaraphalguni, in the Uttaraphalguni, we try to be active. The soul wants to be active, because once you sleep at night and once you're waking up in the morning, you want to be very active, right? Because your rest period is over. Now you're going to utilize the energy that renewed because of the rest you took at night, right? You're going to utilize to fulfill all the activities, or to fulfill your duties, right? You will become more active once your rest is done. So that's what happens in Uttaraphalguni. The rest energy is coming down here. So Uttaraphalguni is not as much comfort oriented as Purafalguni. Here the active state of soul is activated, is revoked, you can say. So is enabled, I want to say, right? So the fact that Uttaraphalguni is related to the back legs and not the front legs of a bed is just relating to the second half of this longing around. So the second half of longing around is not very, very comfort oriented, but of course they also want a lot of comfort, a lot of enjoyment and amusement. So this second half is basically much more active than the first half, right? Because now it has got a lot of energy, lot of renewal of energy, right? So it's mentally getting off the relaxation mode, you can say, and preparing for work. So in the rest period, the first half is something like the soul is really want to take more and more rest. It is expecting rest. It's not expecting to work. It's not preparing for work. It's preparing for amusement and enjoyment in Purafalguni, whereas in Uttaraphalguni, it is preparing. It knows that the relaxation is getting over. Now it's time to work. So a relaxation is an amalgamation of relaxation and work in Uttaraphalguni. So Uttaraphalguni is less comfort oriented in comparison to its counterpart Purafalguni. So it relates to someone lying on a couch, talking, thinking, or contemplating, or involved in some kind of activities like writing, reading, or a kind of sexual activity or anything, right? So it's not completely taking rest. It's actually the soul got some renewal of energy. Now it's time to do something with that energy, preparing for something more, right? So the fully grown fig tree. If you observe Purafalguni, we represented the symbolism, another symbolism for Purafalguni other than the legs of a bed is the fig tree, the small fig tree, right? The short fig tree is basically Purafalguni, whereas a fully grown fig tree is Uttaraphalguni, right? So that represents the notion that Uttaraphalguni has the capacity to actually provide fruit. Because why it is fully grown fig tree? Because it has a capacity to actually provide fruit, because you already took rest. Now you are at the ending period of taking rest. Now you got some energy. Now you're going to utilize that energy. So you're going to utilize the fruits. That's why a fully grown fig tree representation is given to Uttaraphalguni. See, while Puraphalguni, which is related to a growing fig tree, a short fig tree, is actually represented for Puraphalguni. It has the potential for bearing fruit, but it is not actually ripe enough to do so. Right? It is not going to give fruit, but it has, you can see it has the capacity to give fruit in the Puraphalguni, whereas in Uttaraphalguni it is a fully grown fig tree and where you can utilize your fruits. Now, Uttaraphalguni can be seen as a productive rather than a purely recreational, enjoyment oriented and indulgent energy. It is actually very productive. Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra is very much productive than Puraphalguni Nakshatra. And who is the deity of Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra? Aryaman. Aryaman is the deity. Aryaman is one of the 12 Adityas. Adityas are the solar deities in our Vedic culture. So, Aryaman is the main ruling deity of Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra. So, Aryaman is basically seen as a deity presiding over patronage, favors and kindness. If you observe Puraphalguni, the deity of Puraphalguni is Bhaga. Bhaga is also one of the 12 Adityas, the solar deities that very much worshipped in our Vedic culture. So, Aryaman is another solar deity and he is the main ruling deity of Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra. So, therefore, see, the key motivation of this nakshatra is towards helping or receiving help from others. And Aryaman is seen as the epitome of hospitality and any kind of qualities which make Uttaraphalguni a very cultured, social and civilized nakshatra. So, if you have a Uttaraphalguni nakshatra in your house, you get food all the time, you get hospitality all the time, you get some kind of service all the time, right? So, Uttaraphalguni is like its preceding deity is very concerned about etiquettes and social graces. So, if you ask an Uttaraphalguni nakshatra to go out without getting ready, or they may not accept. They want to look, at least decent to some extent, right? Because they are always about this etiquettes and social graces. So, if you want to live with a Uttaraphalguni nakshatra person, you also have to maintain some kind of neatness and some kind of etiquette, right? So, Aryaman is also seen as a deity who places strong emphasis on friendship. So, when you talk about friendship, you talk about Anuradha Nakshatra, right? The Mitra, the Mitra who is the very much worshipped god in the Vedic culture, the Mitra was the deity of Anuradha Nakshatra. So, similar to that, here Aryaman is also a representation of friendship, and Aryaman is known as a deity who places strong emphasis on friendship. Aryaman is the deity of Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra. So, when you talk about friendship, a decent friendship, you can talk about Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra and you talk about Anuradha Nakshatra as well. Now, in Vedic rituals, if you observe, he is almost always invoked in a pair, either with Bhaga. Bhaga is the ruling deity of Puraphalguni, or with Mitra. Mitra is the preceding deity of Anuradha Nakshatra, right? So, in almost all the Vedic rituals, in almost all the Vedic rituals, they talk about Aryaman. They talk about Aryaman in pair with Bhaga, right? The deity of Puraphalguni, and also in pair with Mitra, the deity of Anuradha Nakshatra. See, it is no wonder than that Uttaraphalguni along with Anuradha is known for its ability to promote and maintain friendships. Uttaraphalguni, however, it relates more to a personal one-to-one bosom friendship, while Anuradha Nakshatra relates more to friendliness within a group. So, Aryaman, being solar deity, carries a lot of the natural significations attached to the sun as an astrological entity. See, he acts like a patron, but is bound to lose his temper and act harshly when firmly contradicted. So when you contradict an Uttaraphalguni person, you can observe the harshness of Uttaraphalguni. So whenever you're dealing with an Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra, you just listen to them and never contradict. If you start contradicting, you can see your enemy in Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra, right? So thanks for watching this video. We'll try to understand more about Uttaraphalguni Nakshatra in our upcoming videos. Thank you.